this is the last thing before we get to the demo. I just really want people to understand why you would do this. Besides, the efficiencies in the process that we just discussed, there's a whole bunch of other benefits. First of all, the whole process is centralized, but it's also in the cloud. So you get the benefit of having like a centralized server that maybe a lot of people have in their office, but sometimes you might have to go into the office to do the work. So, if you're doing it like this and writing your stories on the website, it's all in the cloud. So with everyone working remote now, you could still update the website and manage the content there without, accessing that regardless of location. And that's because at our hometown, we host our WordPress websites on Amazon Web Services, which is a cloud-based service. So that's one benefit. As Meg just mentioned, you can publish breaking news on the website in real time. So it can be whatever stories that you want ahead of the print edition can go out there with no extra work. I mean, that's the real thing. Like, of course, anyone could copy and paste an article onto the website that's breaking news. Everyone controls their website in that way, but this allows you to do it with just like a click of a button without any extra work is the idea there. You can use, since you're publishing more in real time, you could, alert your newsletter audience to daily updates because there's fresh content every day. So, maybe get more use out of that newsletter and send out just like one story a day even. That might be a little bit much, but maybe like just rather than one newsletter a week, you could do 2 or 3. And that actually really helps get your audience to open the newsletters more. Mobile responsive websites allow for mobile first publishing, so it's not just digital first, but by getting it on the website, it's on the mobile website at the same time. This is an interesting idea, and I wanted to ask you about this. Does this ever happen for you, Meg? It's just kind of an idea that I thought is technically possible, but I don't know if it's actually happening for you. Like if you put out that story that you put out earlier this week, is there ever a time where you get feedback or the article changes because you put it out early? There's maybe a time.
I mean, yeah, I hadn't actually thought of that, but yeah, I mean, for example, somebody commented that they wanted to know who the write-in winners were in the village, village election, and right. Yeah, I guess that's something I could have added.
Interesting. So, okay. Cool. Well, there's a real life example right there. Okay, now one idea I had for this is that you could maybe test out different headlines or different featured images, like in your newsletter. That would be the place to do it. So, I mean, we're getting a little bit off on a tangent here, but like you can't do A/B testing really on the website. I mean, you sort of could because you could put a headline up first and then change it and see which one gets more clicks. But I think the newsletter is really a more scientific test because you could split your newsletter audience into 2 A and B groups, and then actually, have different headlines or different featured images on those stories and see which one gets a higher click rate or something. Just an idea that would be made possible if you're doing everything on the website first. So I'm guessing you haven't quite done anything.
No, I haven't tried that.
Yeah, it's a good idea. You just do the newsletter once a week, right?
Yeah, I have a couple of colleagues here who send out like 4 and 5 newsletters a week, and I think they're spamming the channel. I think that's not a great idea. It depends.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. 4 or 5 is definitely it's pushing the limits, testing people's patience. I mean, in a way, it kind of allows you to get to the most interested people, because if they're only like marginally interested, then they'll unsubscribe. And I actually
I've got like a 50 or 60% open rate most weeks. I mean, it's
fantastic.
That's great. But I only send out one a week usually. I mean, I've tried it. I've sent out a couple of email blasts for advertising, but I don't want to overdo that either. So
no, for sure. Yeah, it's always a balance between keeping the subscribers and keeping them engaged, really keeping them period and keeping them engaged. And then the story can evolve online as the events unfold, and then you kind of have that final version that gets exported. And something I just want to mention for anyone on the call that isn't with our hometown, but you have a WordPress site, we do have a plugin that you can use on your WordPress site. It's a brand new plugin, and we can, give just that piece to you if you wanted to try this out without, fully switching your website to our hometown. That's something that we're kind of experimenting with at this stage, but it is an option.